All right, good morning. Actually, before I start, I forgot to give praise to Janet, who did a wonderful job creating the video for Do More 24. Thank you. Well done. Okay. I think it will be. It will be, yes. It will be available for, if you missed it, we will make sure. I know, that's good. Okay, let's focus. Thank you. All right. The theme for 2025 is Rising Higher, Growing Deeper. The theme for March is the flow of coming and going. And our topic for today is the still small voice. Ernest Holmes wrote, "Just what is meant by the silence? A contemplation in the quiet of the mind when the objective tumult and is temporarily stilled and we rise in our consciousness to that place of pure causation, with which is spirit." And Eckhart Tolle speaks to our access to wisdom. Wisdom comes when one is able to be still. Stillness, looking and listening, activates the non-conceptual intelligence that nestles within you. Let stillness direct your words and your actions. Let us affirm together. Today, I let stillness direct my words and actions. Or today, I let stillness express as me. Thank you. And, please welcome Eugene Holden.
Good morning. It is on, Dan. There we go. Thank you. Dave, Jim. People. It's a little hot, though. Thank you very much. So, stillness. Let me start my clock because integrity is a wonderful thing. So the theme, first of all, hello everybody out there who is love streaming. Thank you for being here right now. And for those who are showing up a little later, thank you for being here now, because it's always now. So now I want to speak about the month's theme, and it is the flow of coming and going. The flow of coming and going. And it's really an interesting thing when I think about the flow of coming and going, and I immediately go to the breath. Coming and going. The breath comes in, the breath goes out. The breath comes in, and the breath goes out. So as we start to focus on the breath, we find that physiologically speaking, the breath signals the body to relax. So whenever you find yourself a little tense over whatever, right? Stop, and take a breath. Now, I haven't done any research around this, but it is my personal opinion, which is the only one that matters to me, is that, and I don't know if they still do this, but remember when young kids would get upset and they will say, well, count to 10, stop and count to 10. I don't think it was the counting to 10 that calmed the child down. In order to count to 10, you got to do what? You got to breathe. Because again, physiologically speaking, the breath signals the body to relax. So when we're talking about the flow of coming and going, we're talking about really connecting with the breath. See, because without the breath, life is a little different. Without the breath, driving is not the same. In fact, getting up from your bed is not the same. Without the breath, life is not the same. So we want to start with that breath. And it's an interesting thing, and as I observed over the years, that people, not everybody, but a lot of people tend, we have lost the art of breathing. We tend to breathe very shallowly. I tend to watch folks breathe, just to see how they breathe. And then when you start to watch that, then you watch their actions and their activity. And sometimes when they're breathing really shallow, they're agitated, right? So the next time you watch somebody breathe, allow that to signal your breath. Allow that to, oh yeah, let me breathe. Because I want to be in the flow of coming and going. Now that we have connected with that breath, we get into this week's, oh man, thank you, Spirit. We get into this week's theme, which is the still small voice. In order to connect with that still small voice, really? In order to connect with that still small voice, we must breathe. I want to go back to breath just real fast, because one of the definitions for the word spirit is breath. That's why we have inspiration. And when somebody expires, well, the breath is gone, right? So we're talking about breathing is spirit. In the Aramaic tradition, they talk about the breath as being that which is spirit. So in order to get connected with the still small voice, I don't call it small. For me, that that voice is huge and it's sacred. It is still, and for me, it's a still sacred voice. And in order for us to connect with that still sacred voice, we must become still. So that's why meditation is a wonderful, wonderful thing. See, when we talk about that flow, life is all about the flow. Life is all about the flow. Have you ever stopped to think about not just the breath, but how the blood flows? Have you thought about how the river flows? Have you ever thought about how the earth flows in its rotation? Everything is a flow. This morning, I started to connect the talk connected to the practice of Tai Chi. I've been a Tai Chi practitioner for a long time. And so there's always a going, and then there's a coming, right? There's always this flow that happens, and everything happens, and everything moves as one. That's what I love about this thing called life, because it excites me to know that everything is really one. We're all connected. We're all connected, and we all are connected, not just with this thing called life, but we're connected with the breath. Check this out. Take a breath. You thought that was your individual breath. No, it's everyone's individual breath. Our breath connects us to each other. Our breath connects us to the trees. Our breath connects us to all that there is. So when we get into this flow of life, we are talking about the unity of life, connecting with the still sacred voice. So now, how do we do that? There are a number of ways of doing that. Number one, we've been talking about it. I've been talking about it for the last 7.5 minutes, and that is about connecting with your breath. You caught that, huh? Now, the other way to catch that still small voice, I love how you work, Spirit, is with the power of decision. Decide to. Take the class. Because it is really about deciding, setting the intention to become still. And let me listen. Sharon in the Spirit Band, thank you for that song. I'm ready to listen now. I heard your voice before. Your way has been calling me, and I'm ready to be so much more. Ready to be so much more. So how do we become more? We become more by we become more by letting go of all of those thoughts of lack and limitation. We let go of the thoughts of frustration with everything that is going on around us. And that's not to negate that things are going on around us, right? Because there's stuff going on. There's stuff going on, right? There's stuff going on, which I love because it allows us who are in this community and other people who are in this in this global community to raise our vibration. We must raise our vibration because there's stuff going on. And you've heard me talk about not getting caught up with the weapons of mass distraction. Right? We don't want to be distracted by the news. I'm not saying don't watch the news, but I'm saying don't allow it to distract you from who you are. And who you are is the presence of love. Who you are is the presence of peace. Who you are is the presence of joy. Who you are is a powerful divine being here to speak up if that's what it is yours to do. See, so as we connect with that still sacred voice of the Most High, then that allows us to be guided by that. They talk about, and we've heard this for a number of years, right? What's mine to do? And I think that's a good question. What's mine to do? With everything that's going on, what is mine to do? For me, that's the second question. You've heard me talk about this before. For me, that's the second question. For me, the first question is, who am I to be? In this situation right now, whatever's going on, right? Who am I to be in this experience? Maybe I'm called to be compassionate. Maybe I'm called to be still. Maybe I'm called to speak up. But let me connecting with that still sacred voice and asking, okay, who am I to be here in this moment? And now my being informs my doing. Now I know what's mine to do, as opposed to just getting upset about stuff. Gotta watch my language. We have kids in the room. But it is crap. Let's be real, right? There's crap going on, right? But that crap also, check this out. So that crap can also be manure for the new growth. In fact, I think it is. Right? The BS, the belief systems that's going on, and also the bull stuff that's going on can be, if we allow it to, if we decide it to be, the manure for our personal growth. So the question is, in tapping into the still sacred voice of the Most High, who are you to be? Thank you, Reverend Dr. Kathleen Johnson, for that question that she asked earlier. Who are you here to be? Let me just hear three. Who are you here to be? Love, peace. Love, peace.
The light of God.
The light of God. Joy. Isn't this interesting, right? Love, peace, the light of joy. God in action. And it's all the same. It's all the same. So when we tap into that still sacred voice of the Most High, what we are really doing is saying, all right, guide me. You hear me in my prayers talking about God, that infinite intelligence that is guiding G-R-O, direction. G-O-D. So as we tap into that still sacred voice, we are now allowing ourselves to surrender to the power that we are. There's no power outside of you that is going to guide you. Your guidance comes from within. Correct? Yeah. So now, again, how do we connect with that still sacred voice as we fly higher, dive deeper, or like I like to say, dive deeper to fly higher? How do we connect with that? Meditation is one. How many, by a show of hands, have a meditation practice? Beautiful. I don't care if it's 2 minutes, right? Now, when also, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, but it is important to get still. It's so, especially these days. It's so important to get still, right? The next way that we can connect with that still sacred voice is to get into some physical exercise, right? So I like to bring practical tools to this spirituality. That's why I love my Tai Chi. It's a physical activity. It's a Taoist spiritual practice, and it's a physical thing that I can feel. Hiking is a beautiful way to get connected. Sitting out in your yard is a beautiful way to get connected. Going to the park and watching kids is a beautiful way to connect with that still sacred voice. What I love about watching kids, and when we allow ourselves to be open up, when we decide, take the class, when we decide, it's a beautiful class, it really is. When we decide to allow kids to teach us, oh my God, oh my God. What they do is they remind us of who we really are, right? Right? Because here's the thing, we are all grown. You know, some of us have gray hair, some of us are whatever it is, but we are truly still kids. We really are. It's just that the body, the physical body is doing what it does naturally, but we still have that naturally, we have that child within us. So another way to connect is to let that child go out and play. The child that is within. I can be one of the most silliest men that I know. I don't care. I love having fun. I love laughing. Laughter. Laughter is a beautiful spiritual practice, right? So for right now, for the next 7 seconds, laugh. Boom. Talk about contagious. Talk about contagious. That's laughter as a spiritual practice. So you happen to turn on the news, laugh. Like, oh, here we go again. Also, what I like about the news is that it's prayer requests. We see the stuff that is going on. Immediately go to prayer. If you think you don't know how to pray, just say, I bless this situation. That's your prayer. Another way of doing that is saying, where is the good that I'm not seeing in this yet? Powerful question. Where is the good in this situation that I'm not seeing yet? See, because that question allows us to look for the good. Man, prayer request. So that's another way to tap into the still sacred voice of the Most High. Now, the only other thing I'm going to talk about, which is not true because I'm sure there's many things that Spirit wants to say in the next 5 minutes, is to allow yourselves to embody that you are that still sacred voice. So when we talk about the still small voice, the still sacred voice, we're not talking about listening to anything that's out there, right? We're talking about listening to that inner voice within. So then people go, well, Eugene, how do I know the difference between my ego voice, because it's there, and the still sacred voice, because it's there? Anybody have an idea on how to tell the difference? How you feel? Can you feel it? How you feel? When that voice of ego talks like this, right? Don't listen to Eugene. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Right? Well, you can feel that, okay, that doesn't feel quite right. But there's something over here that goes, okay, whatever, there's something that Eugene's saying that resonates with me. I love that word resonates because it has to do with vibration. That's why we love music, because it resonates with us. And then there are some music that does not, and that's okay. But I want you to understand that you want to realize and embody that still sacred voice is you. It is you. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to get all serious, you know. I am a really good spiritual teacher. I really am. It's taken me years to hone that. And I am as silly as I want to be. Because there's a joy in this thing called life. There's a joy in this thing called spirit. You know what the difference between excitement and fear is? The breath. The breath. So when it's interesting, right? I'm going to just go here real fast. So you're getting, when was the last time you were on a roller coaster ride? Nobody raised their hand. Okay, how about this one? When was the last time you went to do something that excited you? Well, how many, right? That excites you. And was there a little bit of fear? Yeah, because that excitement and fear feel almost the same. What makes it different is the breath. It's a choice. Make a decision. Take the class. But it is a choice, right? So decide to tap into the still sacred voice that is you. There is only one life. That life is God. That life is perfect. You are that perfect life now. You are the life of the infinite. You are the joy of life itself. My affirmation for the last 20 plus years, has been, I am the joy of God. Dag nabbit. I am the joy of God. And that's how I live my life. By deciding to be the joy. So who are you deciding to be today? You've already spoken it out into the room. So now, just don't speak it here. In fact, here is a great place to start, but you want to take it out there because the world needs who you're here to be. Right? Yeah. I was like, this.
The man is looking for a response.
Dan, thank you. Right? Because you guys should know me by now. I am always looking for a response. Because that's communication. That's communication.
That's the flow.